On today's call, we're going to talk about asking for reviews, how you can use reviews, what they're good for. I'm going to try to pack as much useful information as I can into the time that we have. We will send a recording afterwards, so you can have that. So if you're not using a note taker and you want to reference anything, you can have it, you can store it, whatever you'd like to do. I'll save some time at the end for questions. My goal today is help. This is a topic that a lot of people get confused on, or a lot of companies don't put the emphasis on. And I want to make it super clear what this is for and how it can help your business. At the end of the day, the value of our company is going to be determined by how much money we put in everyone else's pocket, whether they're our customers or not. So with that, we're going to go ahead and dive into it. Let me get my screen share going and we'll get started. As usual, if this is your first time come into one of our webinars, there will not be a hard pitch. I am not going to try to sell you anything. I am purely just going to share with you this information to do with as you will. So here we go. Can everyone see my head and my screen? Sweet. All right, cool. So getting reviews that rank. This is going to be the playbook, kind of everything you need to know about reviews. I want to give you some strategies, talk tracks, and tools that you can use to increase your review count without sounding like a beggar. Because it's, I have, I have been at the receiving end of some very awkward review requests, very uncomfortable ones, and I've also been at the receiving end of some that I was like, dang, that was smooth. Like you really pulled a move on me there. So we're going to be going through those and give you some tools that you can apply to your business on any budget. Okay. So, quick recap of who we are. We're Secure Line Marketing. We work specifically with fence and deck companies. I'm Alec. My partner Ashton is on the call too. I used to have hair. I don't now. We do a bunch of marketing of different kinds, and away we go. So, number one, why are reviews their most powerful ranking signal? So, what is happening? Um, Reviews are so important. If you've been in the game a while, if and you have a Google Business Profile or you've been doing this a while and you don't have an emphasis on your reviews, if you're trying to get organic traffic, meaning you're trying to get people to find you when they're looking for a fence company, they're not typing in your exact company name, reviews is one of the best ways to get your initial stamp on the map. In most markets, if you have less than 20 reviews, you're invisible. Google doesn't like new entities or they don't trust new entities. Their goal as a company is to connect what's happening in the real world with what people are searching. So if you have less than 20 reviews and you're a local business, you're pretty much invisible because Google is intentionally, they don't know enough about you to know if they should send anyone to you. You're not being referred by anyone they trust, and therefore you're not going to get any traffic. So your first task that we'll talk about is getting 20 reviews. You need 20. It could be 30, but we'll go over that soon. Every review, the reason reviews are so important, Google constantly, their whole algorithm for local search is trying to verify what happens in the real world with what people are seeing online. So they're looking for signals. I did a whole talk last time on EEAT, which is a way to rank your website online. It's their parameter: experience, expertise, authority, and trust. A good review gives you all four of those every time you get the review because each person you work for, if they have a Gmail account or they use Google, which is the majority, they have a full history of what they look at, where they go. Google definitely tracks who they text and where they go to eat. It's all built into the algorithm, what they search on their computer. Google trusts their own data that those people really exist. And when those people in your neighborhood that they know are real go on your site and give you a 5-star review, it takes their validated identity and gives you a big check mark. So this is why buying reviews doesn't work as well because they are looking to validate, and also is totally illegal and get your business suspended from the internet. But real reviews are going to win every single time. It's a huge signal for you. So if you can get reviews, you have great rapport with a homeowner and you can ask for anything you want. This is what you want to ask for. What you did. I want them to say, I want them to say John came out to my property and he built me 200 linear feet of wood picket fencing. It looks great for my dog. It looks great for my yard. You want them to say what you built for them. So exactly what it is, as specific as they can get it. Ideally, they would say where they are. If you can get where they are, you are going to be one or two levels above the general review. So John came out to my house in Cherry Hill, and then he was really impressed by his estimate, and then he installed this for me. Amazing. And then photos are incredible. If you can't get where they did it, photos are good, especially if they took it with their phone. It has location data in them already. And when Google shows previews of your reviews, even if you've gotten some reviews that aren't as good, it will more likely show photos that have reviews on them because there's more data, there's more trust. It's a better user experience for someone researching your company is photos. So if you do have the chance to ask what you did, where you did it, and get photos. And it'll look like this. The really great ones will look like this. Um, this one, they're nice and long. They say exactly what happened, the experience. It's got photos attached. Another one, nice and long, amazing company, photos attached. They even filled out these little things that are new to the reviews. Google loves reviews. They're massive. They scrape the photos, they'll tie them to your business. It gives multiple confirmations, and you got to earn them. Okay. So I'm going to go over the talk tracks very, very shortly here. So, things I don't ever want you to do that are against Google's terms and conditions. One, you can't pay people for reviews. It's against their policy. And if they found out, what they can do is suspend your profile and make it really hard for you to get reinstated because you're in violation of their community standards. So, don't pay for reviews. Don't incentivize with discounts for reviews, online or offline. Just avoid it entirely. Um, Discounts, same thing. And then review gating is the newest thing that Google just released, says that they say it's not in their terms and conditions anymore. I haven't seen how they're going to enforce it. Review gating is when you have a software, you take all your leads and they all get the same form at the end of the job. How was your service? Smiley face, frowny face. Smiley face, they get directed to wherever you want to send them to leave you a great review. Frowny face, they say, oh my gosh, and they send it to customer service and away from all the reviews. So it's like a gate, and it's been the most common practice for getting reviews for most softwares for a very long time. I'm talking the last 3 or 4 weeks, Google released rules saying that this wouldn't be okay anymore. I have not heard anything about how they are enforcing it, but Google is trying to obviously, like I said, they're trying to show the best companies that give the best experience, and the best companies would have the best reviews, not just the company that is pushing the good people to get reviews and trying to bury the people who are a little upset. Okay. Any violations on this can result in profile suspension. If you've ever done, everyone here has done the video verification with Google, and we all know it sucks so bad. The only good part about it is that you only have to do it once per location. That's the only good part. So having to redo it and prove that you fixed whatever they said is just a hassle you don't want. It can take days or weeks. It's pretty unfun. So let's avoid that as much as we can. There are better ways to do it. Okay. So building reviews into your process. How do we bake this into what we are actually doing to get the reviews? And one of the worst case scenario you could have here is you never mention reviews ever. And then at the end of the job, you collect the final payment and you're like, hey, could you also please leave me this review, sir? I would really love it so much. And it just feels horrible and cringy and it makes your skin crawl and it's like terrible. It was funny if you saw my ad where I was talking about feels like asking out a girl when you're like 14 years old. It's because that was the most cringy thing. And even recording it, I got goosebumps because I was so bad at it at that age and forever. So here's a way better way to do it, is what we're going to go over now, talk tracks. Um, but this is most of the time, this is the reason people haven't thought through a process of how to get the reviews, and so it makes it very uncomfortable to be like, "Oh yeah, my marketing guy said to ask for a review. Can you please give it to me?" Um, please. It's very uncomfortable. So what I've seen work the best is make don't necessarily talk about the review, but make talking about a 5-star experience a regular part of your terminology. Hey, we want to be the best. Hey, I want to make sure you have a 5-star experience at the end of this. It's important to me. You can do it when you're setting the estimate. Just by anything you do that's a little courteous to the customer, you can say, "Hey, look, I want to make sure this estimate, even if you don't go with us, is a five-star experience. When is the best time? Should I show up 10 minutes early? Should I show up after here? How about this? I'm going to be in the area between this window." It's all the exact same things you already do when you set these estimates, but just mention like, "Hey, I want this to be a great experience for you. I want it to be a really good experience. So even if you don't go with us, I want the estimate to go smoothly. So what can we do?" And then go into how you normally talk. Then I'll talk about that soon, but you can get reviews just from the estimate. Maybe you're too expensive for that customer, but they really liked you and you were so courteous and you came out to the site. That is an opportunity for you to ask for a review. Okay? The other one is when you win the job. They say that they're going to go for you and you say, "Hey, you know, Mrs. Smith, we're so excited to work with you. You know, honestly, we're very excited. We're going to schedule you for next Thursday. And now I'd like to do if you're doing a pre-walkabout or whatever prep meeting you're doing, you can say, "Hey, I want to make sure that this is the best fence experience you've ever had. So we're going to do XYZ." And you lay out your plan. The more you talk about that as part of the process, the easier it is at the end to include it in your final close, in your final walkthrough, which is what we're going to talk about next. The final walkthrough. If you haven't done anything else, you can still close for the review. The easiest way to not make it awkward is don't do it last. Just make it part of your closing process. So you walk around the job site, you walk the line with them, you show them the fence. "Hey, look at your fence. It looks amazing. This looks great. Is there anything you like change? Anything you like different? Is this about what you wanted? Don't you love it? Great." Now they're on a high. And you say, "Okay, great. We have two steps remaining, and then we're done, and I'll let you go on your way." The first step, would you mind leaving us a review? That's when you want to have something. You don't want them looking you up on your phone. You want to have something they can grab and scan to just leave the reviews like, "Okay, great. You love it. Everything's perfect. Perfect. Would you mind typing that online?" And have them leave the review and say, "Okay, the last step is our final invoice." And then you do the final invoice. You collect that money and you'll go on your way. You're never going to forget to collect the final invoice, ever. That'd be crazy. So just do the review before it. Before you give them the invoice. "Hey, does everything look great?" If something doesn't look great, fix it for them. You can still get a review if it's not perfect. If you fix it, if you have a willingness to fix it, that's great customer service. So the walk around is really your walk around is your quality audit. So walk the job, make the fixes, ask for the review, then ask for the invoice. Don't skip people who seem dissatisfied. If you are attentive and you're quick, you'd be surprised how they feel about you. And then I've got a total hack for you. Um, you can get more than one review on a job. It's not one job, one review. It's not even a job, a review. It's an interaction is a review. So you can get reviews from if you have a very charming salesperson or you have great rapport, it doesn't mean you're going to close at 100%, but you may make them happy to see you at 100%. If you have the right personality and the right person there, you can get reviews from that. If you finish a job and it's a couple or a family with older kids, you can get two or three or four reviews from the same job. They all have their own, they all have their own Google history. They all have their own profiles. They are all individuals. You can get, you can ask for it either together or you can ask for them individually on different interactions. You can absolutely double dip. So I want everyone to sort of break this idea of one job, one review. It's not one job, one review. It's one conversation, one review. And if you count the number of, if you're a fence company doing three jobs a week or five jobs a week, the number of leads you get in a week is way higher than that. And you can do other things too. It doesn't have to be only a customer who leaves reviews. But you want reviews. And the best ones are going to be from customers with photos and in their location. But if you're reaching for those first 20 reviews, get hungry. Shorten that runway. Do it as fast as you possibly can, and then focus on the really good ones after. If anyone has any questions, I forgot to check the chat, but I am checking now. And Ashton will tell me if there's questions in there. Okay, cool. This next part is for the teams who have multiple crews. As an owner, as you start to scale, you're naturally not going to be on every sales call, and you're naturally not going to be on every job site. That would be completely unrealistic. So the way that you're going to scale your reviews needs to be a system that your team buys into, a system that your team buys into that can run without you being there. So some of the easiest ways to do it is One, equip every installer, or at least the crew leads, with a tap card. I'll go over that in a minute. But a tap card or a QR code. QR code can be as simple as a QR code that you make into a sticker and you stick onto something, some kind of tool, or maybe even their truck, whatever they're walking around, something they have ideally when they're with homeowners. Give them all a way to get to receive reviews quickly, and then set a team goal, talk about it in your team meetings, and then make it a good prize. Some of the best examples I've seen when people do this is the projector is the number one. And the way that that worked, they said, hey, whichever crew lead, you're going to get reviews. If your name's in the review, it counts as one for your team. And whichever crew has the most is going to get a projector. It was like a big deal. They were all very excited about this projector. And so the first week and a half, it was a 4 week competition. They did it for a month. The first week and a half was pretty quiet, and then somebody got a couple reviews, and then a couple reviews, and then apparently the last 10 days were like absolute gangbusters. And they were super hungry, and they were going back to the other jobs they did because they really wanted to win. And they got 50 reviews in a month, and that company before only had like 17 reviews total. This is like peak summer, but it really like it exploded. It exploded their review count and it built the muscle memory for them. And it only cost, I think the projector, I can't remember what he said, probably like 180 bucks or something. But in a lot of markets, if you get that many reviews spread out like that, like how they did it, it's the perfect signal to bring in more jobs. So you pay 180 bucks. If you're running Google ads in certain markets, that's a lead, maybe. And you pay for a projector and you get this huge organic boost. It's totally worth it. And for the long term, it's very worth it. Another one that's worked is pizza parties. So every time a crew gets up to 10 reviews, they automatically get a pizza party at lunch. You get pizza delivered to the job site, you pay for lunch from. Doesn't have to be pizza, it can be whatever, but make it special. And it doesn't have to be 10 reviews either. It can be 5 reviews, whatever it is. But you keep count, get the crew's names in the review, and then they get a reward when they hit a certain number. So something. Figure out what indicates to your team and get it for them. Make it reachable. Now I'm going to go over some tools, some little investments you could make to make this easier for you. We talked about tap cards. This is directly from Amazon. There's a million of them. This is 3 tap cards for 25 bucks. And what a tap card is you keep it in your wallet, or you can do a retractable, the retractable key things. I don't know what to call those. You get those for your team. And essentially how this works, just like you tap to pay with the cell phone, they hold this out for the customer. The customer holds their phone on it and it skips everything and it just says, how many stars do you want to leave? Your profile opens automatically and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. They obviously only show the tap card to the happy customers. So it's offline keep review gating. Um, but these are great, 25 bucks, super easy. And the purpose of these things is it makes it super fast and simple for your customers. They don't have to, there's no hassle for them. They can simply just scan the thing, take a picture of the fence, attach it directly to the review and leave the review and it's done. And the less friction there is for the customer, the more reviews you're going to get. Okay, cool. Another one, QR codes. QR codes work. They absolutely work. So if you don't want to do the tap cards, you could go to a post office. You can go to there's free tools like QR Monkey is the one that I use. And you can put your logo on it in design or Canva. You can design a QR code sticker with your logo on it. And then take that sticker, get a bunch of them made, put them digitally, put them on your paperwork, the final invoice for the customer, put it on you could put it on your truck, you could put it on clipboards, you could put it on tools, whatever you want to do. But put these on there, and then when it's time, someone can just open up their phone, hit camera, take a picture, and same thing. How many stars do you want to leave? Skips all the steps for them. Great investment, super easy to do. Yeah, super easy thing to do. Okay. Um, Now, this is a very common situation. I have a lot of companies who've been in business a long time, but never focused on reviews. They never had to focus on reviews, but the competition has really turned up, I'd say across the entire US, most markets. So if you are a company sitting on hundreds or thousands of past customers, you have their contact information, but maybe you haven't spoken to them, and now you're facing some competition, you may be seeing rankings drop or lead quality drop or whatever it is. Reviews are a good way to do it. Best way to do that is use the domain the customers would recognize to send an email with some kind of excuse why they might want to leave you a review. One of the easiest and most effective ones we've done for customers is when it's actually when when our customer gets a bad review, because then we have an excuse to send an email that says, "Hey, like, you know, uh, there was a situation, we've got this bad review. Would you mind leaving some good reviews about it's really hurting our business. Would you mind leaving us some good reviews?" And you just get a steady stream. Everyone wants to help you if you help them out in the past. So that's a good one. Another one is just like competition spiking up in our market. Hey, we've been here for a long time. We're a local company. We've worked with you. We built your fence. Even though that was 4 years ago, would you mind leaving us a review about how great the fence has held up? Just to help us out. We're trying to keep our spot here. Um, Best practices on this one, don't send it to your whole client base at once. You'll get flagged as spammy. There are natural limits to most of these. Send it in batches. There's two different reasons why. But don't use a new email if you can. You can use BCC, but don't do all of it in one day. Spread out the sends. Um, if you can personalize them, you'll get a way better response rate. So if you remember someone is friendly and it was 3 years ago, and you remember you looked in your CRM and you see they had an aluminum fence, send them an email saying, "Hey, we built that beautiful aluminum fence in your backyard. How's it holding up?" And if they reply, then it's like, "Great, would you mind leaving us a review about that?" That'll get you a higher percentage success rate. You can ask more than once. Don't feel like it's one email and it's done. You can send "Hey, following up on that would really mean a lot to us." Okay, cool. And then you'll see a lot. This is a more paid service, although a lot of CRMs already have it built in. And that is let your CRM do the asking for you. I A lot of companies absolutely rely on this as the main way they get reviews. I would still work on the talk tracks. If it means a lot to you for your business to grow, then I think it's important that you, if you're the owner or your project manager or the people on your team, take personal responsibility and don't just let the software set it and forget it, because people get lazy. They just don't remember to do those things. But what you can do is you can have your CRM, when you mark a job completed, you can have it or put it into the stage like awaiting final invoice. You can add a delay and then send an email or a text message or both, asking how their experience went, and have an automated message prompting them to leave you a review. Benefits of that, pretty easy to set up. Automations are really cool also, just because it's things you don't have to do, or usually pay extra for. Downsides of that, not as personalized, right? And you don't know for sure that they're going to leave a review. If you're standing there and saying, "Hey, we have two parts of our process left, leave me a review and pay me," they are go they're going to leave you a review. I mean, you're standing right there, unless they really don't want to. But your success percentage will be much higher. Also, CRM doesn't allow you, the CRM method will only allow you to hit the person who's in your CRM. So if it's a husband and wife team, you're not going to get the second review. You can only get that through the extra effort. Cool. Um, so the risky way right now that a lot of CRMs do is the review gate method. Like I said, that update to Google's terms is really new. So but that is the way most are set up these days. The smarter way would be in your CRM, would be to create a custom field that allows you to internally mark whether that customer was very happy or maybe not so happy. And based on that field, you send them a message that says, "Would you leave us a review?" Not "Were you happy or not happy?" because you already know. Just say, "Would you leave us a review?" And then it's not review gating and you're not in violation of any of Google's community standards or terms and conditions. We're almost at the end. If anyone has any questions, I'm staring at the chat, but I'm not going to force you. Um, okay, cool. So automations can be massive. They can be huge, especially in your busy season. Like I said, you want more than one message. You want the request, and if they don't fill it in, you want a follow-up message and maybe even another one after that. Think of it like the reminders leading up to a dental appointment, or if you, for my dentist, when I leave the dentist, I get quite a few review request messages. Most homeowners expect this for most services. It is not a foreign thing. There's no learning curve on it. Um, but With consistent automation, you can get a lot of reviews. And the number of reviews you need to really dominate your market is going to depend on your competition. It is not the only thing that determines if Google's going to rank your site, but it is one of the important things and something that should have some attention on. The real trick is consistency. You want to be asking everybody. You want to build in those motions and build those processes that allow you to win these reviews, right? And win the market, dominate the market. Okay, now I'm going to talk about cadence. Because what I've seen some people do is they send out a giant bulk email, like 1,200 recipients, and they get 40 reviews in a day. So from the back end, from Google's perspective, they don't just see the total number. So if I look up a fence contractor in any market, somebody's going to have 100 reviews, somebody's going to have 50 reviews, somebody's may have 200 reviews. Google sees a lot more information on the back end. What we want to show, if your goal is increasing ranking with these reviews, then what we want to show is this healthy, consistent cadence. Because this is what a naturally very popular company would look like if they were getting natural reviews. So this is what the algorithm set to reward. This looks like spam. You may see a spike, but you may also see a drop if you don't keep it up. So if this is like a 20 review week and a 20 review week and a 25 review week and a 20 review week and then nothing for months and months and months, you don't look nearly as trustworthy as someone who's getting 3 to 5 reviews every week for months, day in, day out, day in, day out, just steady, steady, steady. I have seen this beat out companies with a way higher review count, total review count. I've seen this chip away rankings and take over the top position. So getting the process in is more important than as a business owner, getting the process in is more important than trying to reach whatever your next plateau of review count is. It's really about this. Now I'm going to put a disclaimer on that. If you're a fence company that's doing local service ads, which I highly recommend, or you're a brand new fence company, don't worry about cadence right now. Just get 20 reviews, 30 reviews. Just race there. Um, your first goal, 20 reviews. Just hammer it. Any way possible, whatever you need to do, get to 20 reviews because you're trying to get your business out there. And if you can't get 20 reviews, it's gonna be hard. There's really two reasons. One, Google absolutely treats you invisibly, but secondly, user behavior. Even if you do get found, if you can join local service ads. I hope everyone knows what that is. You can join local service ads with 2 reviews. But if everyone in your market has 30, 40, 50 plus 200 reviews, and they're showing your business with 4 reviews versus a 200 review company, most consumers are not going to really give you a fair chance at 2 reviews. They're going to think you're brand new, and they're going to think that you may not have the experience or the team size or whatever, or they're going to be lowballing you because they think that you are, a fly by night, ninja fencer. So you want 20, minimum 20. And then I want you to shift to quality. Okay. Then I want you to shift to the really good local reviews, the photos, trying to get those good ones in there. Um, I do have a little hack in here, character reviews. Now, I'm going to be very, very explicit about this. You cannot get anyone, you cannot get anyone to leave you a review saying you built a fence for them if you did not do it. That is not only against Google's terms and conditions, but it's actually a federal crime. So we absolutely cannot do that. That said, the review is not only for the installation of a fence, it's a review of the business entity. And if you're a new company, the business entity may only be you. So if you have someone you've worked with in the past who can verify that you're a trustworthy person, an honest person, you show up on time, you work hard, I would trust this guy. They can leave you character reviews. You can get these not just from colleagues, but if you're a material vendor partners. If you work with any like a landscaper, you partnered on jobs before, you worked with a GC, partner on jobs before. You can get more than one from the same partner. So you can do something like that. You can also do an exchange too, a business exchange. So you and your landscaping partner work on a project together. Hopefully both get reviews from the customer and then you can leave each other reviews. Um, that is absolutely okay within the terms and conditions and everything. It's not as powerful as like the, mega 3-part reviews, but it is still it is still legitimate and is still accomplishing some of what you want, and it's getting you out of invisibility, which is what the first goal. Okay, 20 real reviews beat 100 old ones any day. True that. You can't stop on this. It has to be part of the process. Okay, so we're absolutely flying. Here's your action plan. Here's your action plan broken up. Tap card. I would do that today. If you don't have 20 reviews, race to 20 reviews. You don't need to wait for a tap card. That's just an excuse. Um, get to 20 reviews as quick as you can. But ordering a tap card, very easy. You can get three of them for 25 bucks. I only screenshotted that last night, so I know the pricing is recent. Reframe your walkthrough as a three-step close. So it doesn't have to be the steps that I said. You may have other things you like to do. Other ideas would be in talking about your warranty as one of the final steps. Just tell the customer, all right, great, we have three steps left. We're going to talk about the warranty. If you love everything, then we'll do the review. And then the last step is going to be your final invoice. So let's start with the warranty. Do the warranty talk. Great. Everything looking on the fence? Perfect. Here, tap here and you can leave your review. Great. Well, I get the invoice ready. Um, oh, something's making a call. Pull your customer list and schedule a BCC email batch. Add a QR code to your invoice. If you have a CRM and you're not using the automation, which may be the case, go ahead and set that up. It is worth the time it takes. You don't have to do it during work hours. It's something you can do on your computer at home. It's not, they try to make it not difficult. I almost said it's not difficult, but that's not true. Some of them are very annoying. They try to make it not difficult. So hopefully it's easy for everybody. And then coach your team. I'd highly recommend if you have a bigger team, having a coaching session around reviews and having a role play session with your crew leads where someone pretends to be the customer and they do the final walkthrough and just practice saying it. That should be part of the conversation that no one thinks about. It just is what it is. Okay, we get to the end. Perfect. We have three steps left. Let's go over our workmanship warranty. We did the final walkthrough. Let's go over the warranty together. Then we're going to talk about a review, and then we're going to talk about the final invoice. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Perfect. Yep, we love reviews, and Google likes them because they're the hardest to fake ranking signal that Google has. They are, I mean, I'm sure everyone in this room probably has seen legitimate reviews get scrubbed by Google, which we can talk about. Really the only way to fight them on that is just continue to get good reviews so they trust you and the reviews more often. But yeah, they're giving you something that money can't buy. So that is the end. No pitch. If you want to talk to us, you can. This is a QR code to book time on my calendar. We have this book. If anyone would like a copy, just let us know. We'll get your contact information to send you a free copy of our marketing book. And then we help with a ton of things, except for Zodiac stuff, because I have no idea about that. And that's the end.